Hey guys, we are live.
Yo, yo, yo. Are we in real cam?
Yes, we're good. We're good.
Wonderful.
We're good.
Hey, Facebook, what's going on? YouTube.
How you guys doing?
Woo.
Hey,
Hey,
Admira.
Admira.
How's it
What's good?
going?
What's good? What's good?
Hi.
Alright, hold on. Let me turn down some of these, Hey, guys. Oop.
It's good to
Jonathan
see you guys.
McDaniels up in there.
How you doing? Hope you've had a great day. Hope you had a great weekend.
Who's that? Kid. Oh, what's going on, kid?
How's it
Long
going?
time.
I know.
Ain't seen you guys in ages.
How's the new baba?
Hey,
Hi,
tease.
It's good to see you, Tanya.
It's popping, guys. Popping. It's popping.
Whew. Hey Leah, how you doing? Leah, thank you so much for your card. We got it today. Thank you guys. Hey, how you doing, Beatrice?
No, I'll be interested.
No.
Whew. What's going on, peeps? What's going on, peeps?
How
Just
you
waiting
doing,
for some people to come
Tosin?
online.
It's good to see you.
Yeah,
we're good. We're good. It's been a very quick, fast-paced day. That's the nicest way to put it. It's been like,
Yeah.
Jesus. I opened my
crazy.
eyes before I looked around. It was nearly time for us to be here
Yeah.
with you guys,
Coming
and we're so excited. I mean, our whole week revolves around this hour that we have with you guys,
and life.
and we love it because we sit down and we talk and we deliberate. Hey, Kayon, how you doing, honey?
Hey, Toyin. Is that Toyin?
No,
Catherine?
it's Tosin.
Tosin.
Oh no, it is.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? The
Insta
writing's
names,
so
boy.
small. Yeah.
Insta names.
How you doing? But yeah, we're good. How are you guys doing? Hey, Abby. It's good to see you guys.
Cool, man. Cheese.
Yeah, hoping that you guys are all good.
Yo, yo, yo.
That you had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Resurrection weekend. Hey, Femi.
Yeah, how was your resurrection weekend, guys? How was it? Was it good? I know everything is like online now, so
Yeah.
how was it? I know about you guys.
Oh, remembered, lovely.
It's good.
Hey,
that's
Elaine.
good.
Oh.
Anyway, I ain't gonna say nothing, man. I ain't even gonna say nothing,
We're so happy
man.
to see you, Elaine. It's lovely to see you. Hey, Stacey, how you doing?
Hey, Stace. What's good? What's good?
Pearl 89.
Thank you guys so much for coming in, for joining in. Listen, we've had so much amazing
Yes.
feedback.
Yes,
It's
we
just
have.
been crazy. Polish family, what's
How
going
you
on?
doing?
They hit us up this week saying, "Oh my gosh, amazing ministry."
Good.
So we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, cover your mouth, Elaine.
No, do you know what, Elaine? There's no judgment. Every day is a new day.
Life,
Any day you want to
Life.
send that video, it's
Life.
perfectly fine.
Life.
There's no judgment. There's no condemnation. The Lord is merciful. His
Wow.
grace.
Oh, it's sufficient. It's so sufficient. It's so sufficient. So you guys can hear us okay, right? Because we're testing out some new sound and stuff like that. So
Thank you.
you guys are looking great. Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. You know, we try. We try. Cool.
Yay.
All right, sweet.
So, this week we've got a big action-packed week for you, and we're really excited because we've been talking about today, we've been talking about next week, and it's filling us with so much joy and excitement, but we can't run ahead of ourselves. So I'll give you a bit of a brief update as to how today's going to work. We got some questions. We posted those questions out earlier on today. We're going to go through them. We're not going to answer it in the order that you think we're going to answer it. We're going to answer question 3, then question 2, and then question 1, because it just makes more sense. It's a bit more juicy that way. And then we're going to talk about our first date. Now, I'm really excited to share what that was like. And yeah,
Shocking.
you guys will know anyway.
Anyone
But
who
yeah.
knows about that word, shocking.
Anyway, and then we've got some other bits to come with you guys, and we want to tell you about what
Yes.
next week's show is about as well.
Yeah, man.
So there's lots to get into.
Indeed. But guys, yeah, thank you so much for everybody who's tuned in. As some of you know, or may not know, my name is Ulrich.
I'm Siobhan.
And we are the Cokers.
Cokers.
And basically this is the journey so far.
Yes.
It's a segment where we're basically talking about our journey. We're celebrating
Yeah.
10 years of marriage
Can
this
you
year
imagine?
in September. And
Yeah.
we are so thankful to God for his grace and his mercy. And so as this whole COVID-19 situation is happening, we thought it was an ample time
Yeah.
to get on here and just to basically share our journey and just
Yeah.
to inspire and just be a voice of just positivity.
Yeah.
Because we know we're hearing so much negativity. You know, we're not oblivious to the fact that loads of people, thousands of people are dying.
Yeah.
And we are definitely praying for them.
Yeah.
But we just want to come to you guys today and just to give you guys some encouraging, just make you laugh, hopefully. And just share basically just our journey, our process, the things that God has taught us, because we believe in Jesus, we believe in Christ, we're Christians.
Yes.
And so we are firm believers that
Laddie.
our faith has definitely guided
Hey, Kyle.
our process and our journey, and we just want to share that with you.
Yes.
One disclaimer, relationships are subjective.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know, the Bible doesn't give us a clear depiction of how a relationship is supposed to be
yeah.
what's the
Carried
word?
out, really.
Carried out,
Yeah.
but however, it gives us guidelines.
Yes.
Gives us loads and loads and loads of guidelines. But what we're sharing throughout the journey so far is basically what God has inspired us to do, how we conducted our relationship, and how we got to where we are today. So we hope that some of you who are listening, you may not agree with some of the stuff we say,
And that's okay.
and that's fine as well. But I'm hoping that you'll take a few little nuggets and stuff
Yes.
that you may be able to apply.
Jason,
Because trust me, next week's show, jeez, I'm not even gonna say
get
that.
ahead of ourselves.
Let's start
not
with
get ahead of ourselves.
let's start with the first date. But before we get into that, we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about
The first
we're going to talk
question.
about the questions.
Yes.
The questions. And thank you guys so much as well. Like all the people who have kind of reached out to us, like
Yes.
through direct messaging, through Slido.
Yes.
Please continue to send your questions because we're going to do our best to obviously deal with these things.
Yeah.
We may not be able to cover the whole thing,
Yeah.
but at least we'll be able to give you something for you to take away. So that you can just walk in everything that do you know what I mean, that God has called you to do.
Yes.
All right. So as Siobhan said, we're going to start with question 3 for those
Yeah.
of you that saw the post. So the question is, how long were you dating before you got married? This is an easy one. I'm not even going to spend a long time on it. We dated for about 3 years.
3.5.
3.5 years before we actually got married.
Yeah.
Some people think that's long, some people think it's short. But I think because I'm coming from an African background and Siobhan coming from a Caribbean background, I think during our process we thought it was a good enough time
Yeah.
to really understand each other,
Yeah.
like cultures,
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And it really gave us a lot of time to really process things,
Yeah.
deal with things
Yeah.
before we got married. And so when we got married, we knew it was a done deal, basically.
And
Yeah.
I love what you said about the different cultures.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people kind of assume, well, you're both black, so surely you're kind of, you'll get it. But you've come from completely different parts of the world. You do things completely differently. You expect different things. You're brought up in completely different ways.
Yeah.
And that influences how you see marriage, how you see love, how you express yourself, how you communicate your frustrations. I think that is like almost the outer shell. I feel like every person is kind of like those Russian dolls where there's another person inside and another layer and another layer and another layer.
That's good.
And as
That's
it
good.
gets closer and smaller, you're getting right to the crux of things. But in that time, that 3.5 years, and we were, as we said before, we were friends for 1.5 years before that. But the 1.5 years of friendship wasn't now folded into the 3.5 years. That was additional time where we really got to get to know each other. We really got to fall in love. And then we spent a good year and a half actually planning the wedding.
Yeah, that's true.
Although we were only engaged for 6 months. So for those of you who understand the revelation, we were planning our wedding way before we even got married, or way before we even got engaged, so that we could kind of talk about where we wanted to go, what we liked, and just to find out, you know, what our likes and dislikes. It wasn't all, okay, the ring's on the finger, let's start planning. We had already kind of got to that stage. So for any of you who kind of wonder, okay, well, when's the certain time to actually start some of those processes, we're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover that more in more detail. But yeah.
Cool. She's trying to preach up on this.
Sorry.
One. I'm trying to get through to question 1 because that's the juicy stuff. Anyway, so question 2 is basically, when did either of you know that the other person was the one you wanted to marry?
Yes.
And I say the one because we're going to talk about that
The one.
in a few months' time.
Yeah.
Is there such thing as the one?
The one.
Question marks. Put a pin on there. Yeah. So when did either of you know that the other person was the one you wanted to marry? Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I
Why?
knew that Ulrich was like, I knew that Ulrich was the one for me after about
Jeez.
2 months. I literally
2 months.
Yeah.
That's
So
mad, babes.
I prayed about it. I was seeking God's face. I was praying. I was fasting. I was just like, listen, God, I don't really want to progress into any further, anything deeper than this if it's not going all the way. Hey,
Wow.
how you doing, Trace? But yeah, so I literally just said, God, you need to show me. And God and I, we were rolling around 6 a.m. often. I was definitely on my face, praying, seeking God's face about what it was. And just, you know, just like coming to terms with, okay, God, if I do, no, you haven't missed that much, Trace.
Start again, you know. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, you can go back to the other episodes. You can find them on
Yeah,
YouTube.
everything's on YouTube. Don't worry. You're alright.
But yeah. So I knew.
2
I
months.
Knew, I knew.
2 months she knew. Fam, I did not know. I was in trepidation. I was like, is she the one? Is she the one? Is she the one? No. Is she?
Hey,
Can I?
Teddy.
You know, I think for me and possibly for guys, if you feel that way, guys, just give me a thumbs up. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't know until quite later on. I think it might have been that same
Hey,
year.
Omar.
But I think, what we're going to talk about the first date will kind of make a bit more sense because for
Yeah.
me, I was the one that was kind of making sure that we were guarded and that we weren't doing anything before it's time. That was like
Yeah.
my main comment.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to do anything before it's time.
Every 2 minutes.
Because I was just so conscious about making sure that we got this thing right. And sometimes when you're like that, it can kind of be a negative.
Yeah.
And sometimes it definitely was, and I put my hands up.
okay, don't
However,
Yeah.
I think after seeking counsel,
Yeah.
because I think it was when we started to talk about love. When I couldn't, when
No,
I
that was much
later?
Yeah. That was
Really?
like a year in.
Yeah, but then I think that's when I started to really
No, you-
be convinced that Siobhan was the person I wanted to marry. I mean, we did some crazy things at the beginning, which we're going to talk about anyway. But I think what sealed it for me was when we went to see Pastor Davey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That was
Because I had an
the-
issue with saying I love you to Siobhan.
Yeah.
So she was happy to say it, but I had an issue. There was like a little
Okay,
tussle.
so do you know what Ulrich is going into some? Like,
So, I'm sorry,
this
I'm
is
sorry,
like
I'm
the-
sorry,
The
I'm sorry,
coverage that
I'm
Ulrich
sorry,
is talking
I'm sorry,
about is like
I'm sorry.
week 7.
I'm sorry.
He's
I'm sorry, guys.
really
I'm
jumping
sorry.
ahead. I'm so
I'm gonna
sorry,
reel
guys.
it in. I'm reeling it in.
We have to just
So my knowing that she was the one came a
much
lot
later.
later.
He doesn't know.
That's
He
it.
doesn't know what
That's
month, what day,
That's
what
it.
hour. He
That's
just
it.
knows.
But that moment in Pastor Davies' office
Yeah,
was the moment
was
that
the
I knew.
moment.
Okay, cool. This is the one. This is the one. All right, cool. So guys, this is the question that we have been smiling about
Yes.
this week because it's weighty. And so we are going to do our very best to
Mm.
cover this in about maybe 5 or 10 minutes because we really want to get through and start talking about our first date. Now this question, and this is what I keep saying, send your questions because
Yes.
Come on.
Definitely
So,
send your questions.
question is, what do you do when the husband wants to go left and the wife wants to go right in terms of decision making? Now, this is a beautiful question. And thank you to the person who sent it. And I pray that you and your fellow colleagues will continue to send questions like this because it's really amazing.
Yeah.
This question is really, really big. And like I said, I don't think we're going to be able to cover it because the foundation of this question is really talking about submission.
Yes.
And we definitely don't have time to cover the whole of it.
Yeah, that is a whole. It's a whole.
That's
a
whole
session.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole preaching series.
Yeah,
You can preach about that for a long time.
For several months.
For a long time.
However,
But I think in our experience, because we've definitely experienced it over the years, of where Siobhan doesn't think that a decision that I am making or about to make is the right one.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this during this week, and I think the best way to kind of explain this is to understand that within the marriage union, because the Bible talks about it in Ephesians 5, I believe, about verse 20 thereabout, and it talks about husbands loving your wives, but it talks about wives submitting to your own husband.
Yeah.
So this submission thing is really between husband and wife.
Yeah.
Again, I can't really go into breaking that down, but the whole ethos in terms of what this whole decision making thing is understanding that your husband is essentially your head.
Yeah.
God has placed marriage, he created marriage. And when he created marriage, he created a specific type of order.
Yes.
And the order was that the man was supposed to be the head of the home.
Yes.
So he was essentially the key decision maker in terms of where the family goes.
Yeah.
Now, this is not to say that the woman is unable to make decisions. That is not it. What it is it's about the two people working as a team.
Yes.
And one of the things I was saying to Siobhan is that we have to almost see marriage as a football team.
Yeah.
You have a captain, or any team, in fact, not even just a football team, but
Netball,
any
basketball,
team,
it doesn't matter.
there is always a captain.
Yeah.
And the captain's responsibility is to see beyond what the players can see.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good the players are compared to the captain.
Yeah.
Because the captain is not chosen because he is the most gifted.
No.
He's not chosen because he is always on point and he does everything right. The captain is chosen because he is able to carry the responsibility of the team.
Yes.
And he's able to direct that team in the right direction.
Yeah.
Now, the team's responsibility is to support the captain.
Yes.
So even though the captain may say something that the team doesn't quite understand or don't even agree with, their responsibility is to still go with the captain.
Yes.
Because if you stop moving with the captain, then what you're doing is you're isolating yourself outside of the team.
Yeah.
So I want you guys, as I'm speaking, I want you guys to picture this
Yeah.
within a marriage.
Yeah.
Because within a marriage, you are a team and the husband is your captain.
Yes.
And so the posture, I'm saying hello to the ladies, the posture of women within this team is to understand that, yes, sometimes he is going to say something that does not make sense.
It's true.
But your responsibility is to follow and to help
Yes.
him make the right decisions.
Yes.
Now, if you're coming to him with the wrong attitude and with this kind of, well, you don't know what you're talking about, that is going to make him shut down to you and make you basically null and void in his mind.
Yeah.
Because he needs a woman who is going to allow him to make the decisions.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. Sometimes the captain gets it wrong.
And that's what I just need to come in here because
Go for it, babe. Tag that.
one of the things that we have to be so conscious of is when you are married, you're a we. You're a team.
Come on.
And if he makes the decision and it is the wrong one,
Come on.
it means you both take the hit.
Yeah.
What you can't do is say, well, I'm not playing anymore.
Or I told you so.
Or I told you so.
Wrong attitude.
Because at the end of the day, we are not God. We can't see at the end of it. Even if you perceive that that was the wrong play, or you perceive that, you know what, this isn't going to work out as well. Once you've put forward because it doesn't mean you have to be silent. That's not what this situation is. You have to make sure you present your opinion and so on and so on, but obviously you do it in a loving and understanding way. You don't shut it down and say, listen, you better understand, because then you're gonna get opposition. It needs to be done
he's gonna resent you.
Exactly.
Because he needs to be level-headed.
Yeah.
And be able to think clearly. And even if he's thinking about it completely wrong, even if he's ill-advised, if he is adamant that even with your input on how guys should make that decision, if he's still adamant that he wants to go this way, your responsibility is to follow him, and to follow him with love, and to follow him that even if this drops clean off, it's me and you against the world. And my thing is right here is, if you are not ready for things to go wrong, or things to not go the way that you want it to do, then I submit to you that you may be in the wrong team. Because your responsibility in this dating period is to find out whether that man or that woman is somebody that you can win with. But more importantly, you can lose with.
You can take hits.
Because in this generation today, everybody wants to be winning. And that's like the new hashtag. Are you winning? I'm winning. I'm living my best life. But in marriage, sometimes you're going to lose. And if you be children of God or following God,
you need to
God
be able
has to take you through loss.
It's absolutely imperative. You have to go through fire to see what sort it is. The Bible says it in Corinthians 3 verse 10, and it says you have to go through fire to see what sort you are. So if you're straw, you're going to get burnt up. But if you're gold, all the impurities, all the imperfections will come up to the surface, but they can be removed so that you can shine greater. You can be stronger. So we say all of it to say, if you're not willing to submit, if you're not willing to let him lead, if you're not willing to take a loss and take a hit and actually live and work through when you've made mistakes.
Absolutely.
Maybe you're not quite ready for relationships that lead to marriage. Maybe you're not quite ready for marriage. Because at the end of the day, if it has to be your way or the highway, it's not going to work. And this is for the guys as well as the girls.
Come on.
Because the guy can't just be like, I'm only making my decision because I'm the head. The minute you have to say, I'm the head, there's a problem.
You've lost it.
You never need to say, I am the head, so I need to make this decision. It's wrong. Gladly, every woman would bow the knee to somebody who would listen, take her advisement under, like, if I thought that you weren't listening to me, I wouldn't even want to put in my suggestion. But if I know that you've considered what I've said, you've seen it from my point of view, and you still said, you know what, no, I actually do think we need to make this decision, then yeah, cool, let's walk through it. And I tell you what, I'll be completely honest with you. There are times that Ulrich has said, let's do something, and I've said, nah, don't do it. And he said, okay, cool, let's trial it your way. And we've trialed it my way. And it's been costly and it's been a bad mistake. No, I'm serious. We did something that cost us nearly $3,500 in a season when it was tight for us. And I was like, no, God's going to provide good. And we paid a price that we were just like, but what he didn't do is say, you see? Because that wasn't it.
And this is what Ephesians 5 was talking about, because just before it talks about women submitting, it says we must also submit one to another.
Right.
And the reason why sometimes we get to a point where we can allow you to kind of have your say.
Good to see you, Nish.
Because sometimes we need to make a decision because we need to make a decision. But there comes a time, because I know that Siobhan trusts me and trusts my ability to make a decision. There are certain times where I've said to myself, okay, cool, let's try it your way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not to be out of order. Like to say, okay, cool, let's try it your way and let's see if this works.
No.
Do you know what I mean? To teach a lesson, not at all.
No.
But it's just to teach the both of us
Yes.
that sometimes we have to listen to each other.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we have to be so like in tune
Yeah.
with each other and with God in terms
Yeah.
of where we're going, the direction that we're trying to go, what we're trying to achieve,
Absolutely.
so that we can walk together. Because although we got burnt by that season, we're stronger now for it.
That's
We're
right.
stronger now for
That's
it.
right. Absolutely.
And next time when I make a decision,
yeah.
Siobhan's probably going to be like, okay, cool. I know that I want us to do this, but you know what?
Let's
do your
try
thing.
it.
Why? Because I've proven my ability to lead.
Yeah.
And that's another thing for the guys. A woman will never submit to somebody who hasn't got a track record of good leadership. I'm going to copy this bit and send it out tomorrow because that was real good. Because you
Sorry.
guys should be clapping.
Yeah.
If you have questions, please put them in the question box.
Yeah. Please put them in the question
Because
box. I'm trying to read.
we're trying
at
we're,
the same
we're trying to
time
flow, man.
and
We're trying to
losing
flow.
the flow.
I can't even remember what I just said. But anyway, you have to understand that leadership takes time.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It takes time and it takes work. We can only talk about this being on this side.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We've had years of getting it wrong, of being at each other's throats, and some
Yeah.
of you guys who may get into marriage or are in your first year or your second year, it's tough. Like, do you remember
Yeah.
our first year?
Whoop.
Lord Jesus, like the Christmas. I remember. I'll share this quick story, so that you understand leadership. Yeah. So we got married in September of 2010.
Yeah.
By was it November?
Yeah.
November, we had a flood in our flat, right?
Oh.
We had a flood in the flat, and there was no hot water?
There was no water.
There was no water at all for like about 3 days. And best believe that the day after, because it started flooding in the night, and then
Yeah.
obviously we slept. And then the day after, Siobhan turned around to me and she goes, "Oh, I'm going to go to my mum's."
Yeah.
In my head, all I
said
wanted
it.
to do was just bring out the scriptures and say, you know, the Bible says that
Leave.
for this reason,
A man
a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife,
Yes.
and the two shall become one flesh. So in my head, I said to her, "See you later." I said, "I've left my mum and dad. I ain't going back." I've left my mum and dad. I'm not going back for no shower. I said, this is my house. This is our house. So if you want to ship and go back to that covenant that I've taken you away from so that we can make new covenant. Oh, Jesus, I felt that in the Holy Ghost.
Okay, guys, you have to forgive me. At the time, we lived like 20 minutes
What
from
do
my
you
mum's.
mean?
I was like, listen, I gotta get a shower. There's not even hot water. It's not that there's no hot water. I can deal with that. I'll boil the kettle. I'll make it work. When there's no water whatsoever,
Fam,
how am I gonna have a shower? Best believe we had to go to the shop, buy 5-litre bottles of water,
100.
boil it up, and have a shower. And you know what? It was fine. We lived through it. We got through it. It was difficult, but after Ulrich said, "I ain't going to my mum's house,"
No, I said, you can go.
yeah.
I told her, I said, you can go, but I'm staying here. Because I'm not going nowhere. This is my house. I said, see you later.
Guys, we
but
were
the
only
conviction
2
of
months
the
in.
conviction. Oh, glory.
No, I felt it. It was weighty. It was like a
Jeez.
big.
Slap it and make you want to slap your man. No, I'm joking.
No, it was serious, but it was enough to kind of wake me up to say, do you know what?
We're in this.
Yeah.
Like, we are in this. And the thing, and another thing, sorry to cut you, babe. Another thing as well, this was also like a cultural shift.
Yeah.
As well. Because me being from Sierra Leone, like, we have cold showers all the time because it's so hot outside. So for me, I know how to boil water to make my bath every day if I want to have a warm shower. So it wasn't even a thing for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like all my African peeps. But so
It wasn't that not having the hot water is not the problem. Not having any water. You can't wash no dishes. You can't make yourself no tea. You can't boil no pot of nothing. You know? So for me, that was
Mad.
more of the issue, but it's fine. We lived through it. We got over it, and it's something
Telling
that we
you,
always
it's
go
funny,
back to
man.
over and over again to say, okay, cool. This was a shift. This was a
Definitely.
mindset shift. This was just a nice shaking to be like, come on,
Definitely. Wow.
can't go back.
But yeah, there's so much more that we could talk about submission.
Yes.
It's so good because my thing is, I don't like this whole journey so far. We didn't really want to make it like preachy and but I mean, as the time goes, obviously we'll break down some scriptures
Yeah.
and stuff like that and guide. But we really just wanted to talk and just to share because at the end of the day, we realize that some of you guys may not even be Christians.
Yeah.
So we want to make you guys understand that look, it's real. Do you know what I'm saying? This situation is not a joke, but the principles that we stand on
Yeah.
are definitely from the Bible and
Yeah.
inspired by God. So
Yeah.
we
And
hope you enjoy it. Go on.
Yeah,
Go on,
and
go
we
on.
share our mistakes. We share our faults.
Of course,
we
man,
haven't got
come
it
on.
right all the time. We certainly haven't, but we're here to share what has worked for us,
Yeah,
and it's helped us along the way.
absolutely. So we're at the 30-minute mark.
Yeah,
So we're gonna just shift a little bit and talk about our first date. So for those of you who are just joining us maybe for the first time, we've basically over the past 2 or 3 weeks we've just been talking about our journey, how we met,
yeah.
and then I think
walk in the
last year
park.
the walk in the park.
Last week.
That was last week, which was so good. And again, if you guys want to catch up, please go to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
We are the Cokers. Just
Yeah.
check us out, subscribe, and you can watch the episodes. Now, without further ado, so the first date. So I'm gonna let Siobhan talk because I think she
He don't
she
remember.
was she
He
was
doesn't
impacted.
know.
No, I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
remember.
He
But she
remembers.
was impacted a
Yeah.
lot more
Yeah.
than I was because I was a bit of a tyrant. So I'll let you speak, my baby.
So, so we went for a walk in the park. Blah blah blah. That was Sunday. By the Tuesday, we had set our first date. So Ori said, "Okay, cool. Let's meet up for like a proper date on Saturday." So bearing in mind, because Ulrich told his mum, told his sisters, told his friends, I then said, So I'm gonna tell my mum and my sister. So I remember saying, Mum, I met this guy. Da, da, da. It's Ulrich. You know who Ulrich is? Because obviously she already knew that I had this friend, Ulrich. And we were saying, okay, cool. So we went for a walk in the park. It was really lovely. And he wants to take me out on our first date. So we're all excited. We're proper talking about it all week. When I tell you, like, how we're going to have went to the hairdressers, got my hair redone.
She got dolled up.
And then we were kind of like, okay, cool. So I think it got to the Thursday.
Yeah.
Got to the Thursday. And I was like, right, Mum, should I go jeans? And I was speaking to my sister. I was like, should I go dress? No. Let's do dress, like nice dress. And I was like, right. I was saying to Naisha, Naisha, like, what nice dress have you got? Because I haven't been shopping recently, but I'm thinking that some of the stuff in your wardrobe might be slightly different. My mum was like, cool, so what shoes are you going to wear? It was like, we were talking this thing up. And okay, my sister is 4 years younger than me, but we are very similar shape, height, so on and so on. So anything that was in her wardrobe was in my wardrobe, and anything that was in my wardrobe was in her wardrobe, which is funny because when we got married and Aurit was saying, where's that top that da da da, I was like, oh yeah, that's really nice. That's at my mum's.
She took it back.
I don't have access to that wardrobe anymore. But that's another story.
Crazy.
So the first date, I'm like proper getting ready for this lovely date that I have in mind, and I'm thinking, it's gonna be a lovely restaurant, it's gonna be a date, like he's gonna when you just don't know what to expect. Now, disclaimer, this is my first Christian relationship. So I am like, okay, how's this thing gonna go down? This is not gonna be linking no man like outside McDonald's. It's not that kind of runnings. We're past that now. We're going somewhere deep. We're going somewhere good. So then I'm talking to my mum, and my mum was like, well, really, you need to find out where you're going, because then you'll know what to wear. If you should go dressy, if you should go casual, if you should go, like, what are you going to do? So I remember, I don't even remember if I called Ulrich or if I messaged him. And I was like, so, Ulrich, I'm thinking, like, I was probably going to wear a dress and some heels, but I didn't really know what we're going to be doing. So, like, do you mind? You don't have to tell me exactly, but just what kind of thing should I have in mind?
What kind of date is it?
Yeah, what kind of date is this going to be? Hey, Ulrich. Siobhan, it's nothing like that. Do not wear heels. Do not. No, we're not going fancy. Nothing like. Listen. Wear your trainers. Wear your hoodie. Wear your jeans. It's nothing. No, it's no dress up. It's no dress up. I was like, huh?
Bible study, I'm done.
Okay.
Woo!
So that Saturday comes.
You know when you tell somebody something and you feel the disappointment on the phone. It was mad.
There was a silence. There was just like.
It was mad. It was bad. I'm so sorry.
What? So, like when I come off the phone and my sister and my mum like, so what did he say? You're just like,
wear jeans and a top, bruv.
You're not even gonna take off your coat.
And crepes.
Don't worry about it.
You guys remember that word, crepes? Wear your crepes.
So anyway, so Saturday comes. I think I put on flats, a pair of jeans, a nice top and a jacket. We got in the car.
Ooh, fire.
He came to pick me up in his car. And we drove. I lived at the time in Leighton.
Yeah.
We drove to Tottenham.
Tottenham Hale.
The industrial park, where the station is. And we parked up in Burger King. Outside Burger King. We didn't get out of the car.
Oh, God.
We didn't go into Burger King. We didn't even eat food. The first date, there was no food. There was no drink. There was no juice. There was no cracker. There was no biscuit. There was nothing at all.
No cracker.
There was nothing.
No cracker,
The first date was sitting in the car park. It was late. It was dark. Ulrich pulled out this notepad.
No, it's my PDA.
Okay.
T-Mobile PDA phone.
Okay.
It was one of the first first T-Mobile phones with the pad. It was deep.
Our first date
I'm so sorry.
was in the car.
I'm so sorry.
Not even fries, nothing. No milkshake, nothing.
But didn't we get food?
No! We
sure
did
we got
not.
food.
No, we did not.
Right at the end?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
We went home. I ate my dinner at home. I ate my Saturday dinner at home. Yeah, you fasted. Listen. There was no frills. You know, like, back in the day, there was that packaging from a supermarket that said no frills. There was no frills.
At least it's fasting.
It was true fasting. We sat down in the car. But you know what? All jokes aside, we sat down in the car and Ulrich pulled out his PDA and he's like, yeah, let's talk. And I was like, it come like an interrogation because the man had questions for me. He had questions for me like, okay, Siobhan.
Sorry, these are real tears, you know, guys.
Past,
real tears.
present, and future. Let's talk.
Listen, guys, yeah. I was a bit of a hoarder of information, right? So I noted everything. So I actually have the original list, right? I don't know if you guys can see this. So this was basically my list. Oh, hold on. Yeah, like that. That was my list of topics to talk about. And it was labeled, because I was very organized, it was labeled past, present, and future. Because I wasn't playing around. I wasn't playing around, and I'm sorry.
I know.
We had
Interview on
lovely
empty
dates.
stuff.
We had lovely dates after that, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We really
But the
did.
foundation needed to be laid because I wasn't having any of it. There's no way I was messing this up.
It's good. So
yeah, man, it was deep.
for the past, it said, like, okay, so have you had any like major
It was like
heartbreaks?
Yeah, like past relationships, past hurts.
Past hurts, but this wasn't to go like deep into your like tell your whole life story.
No,
because we still weren't there. But it was okay. Is there anything like major that I need to be aware of?
Yeah.
Like, have you been in a relationship where there was domestic violence or abuse or anything like that? Have you that kind of like that kind of big stuff?
It was heavy duty stuff, guys.
So that we just know, like, okay, cool. What am I getting myself into here?
Yeah.
And then present, it was
loads of stuff.
there were loads of stuff. So we're looking
that's where we
at
had the titles.
Yeah.
Spiritual life compatibility.
Financial status, like,
Whoop,
are you in debt?
whoop. That was my first question.
What's your credit like?
What's your credit, baby? Yeah, it was deep. And then we talked about likes and dislikes, and then gifts as well.
Yeah.
Because I was basically saying to her, look, I'm not going to give you any gifts that didn't edify you.
Yeah.
Because, and guys, you have to understand, this was a complete shift even for me. Because I was so used to doing things a particular way and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So I was adamant that, okay, cool. Well, back in those days, I was reading books like, Power and Purpose of a Man, Power and Purpose of a Woman, by the late Dr. Miles Monroe. I was reading Joshua Harris's I Kissed Dating Goodbye.
Yeah.
All of that. And my sister, Lorinda, she gave me this book called Boundaries in Dating. I wasn't playing around.
Yeah, he was militant.
So, and I'm not saying go that far, but I think there's a foundation in it which helps.
And it did. Because what it made us do is it made us talk about what our expectations were.
Yeah.
And managing those expectations. And even for me, the whole experience with it not being a date night out where you're going and it's all like fluffy
touchy-feely
all of that.
Romancing and nah, fam. That can come later.
I had to manage my expectations with that. But also to be like, okay, cool. In marriage, you're going to have those lovely times.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to have those hard times. Or you're going to have those serious times. But for the majority of it, you guys need to know exactly where you're at. And if you're not looking at this relationship for what it really is, you might get sidetracked by the lovelies and the sweet and the frilly and miss the foundations.
Yeah, and lose sight.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what happens. We get so caught up with the senses, the five senses, what feels good, what looks good, what tastes good, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what feels good, all of that kind of stuff. And we lose sight of actually what we are trying to achieve here.
It's true.
Do you understand? And I think for me, and guys, how old were we?
21, 22?
We were 21, 22. And it's not to big up ourselves, but I'm just saying, like, for this thing to last and for this thing to work, you need a level of maturity.
Yeah.
Because there was no way that we would have got here had I come in with my old mind.
Yeah.
No way.
We were completely different. We were changed. We were.
Way. But talk to them when you got to Future, baby.
So we're going through this list, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, why is marriage on this list? This is a first date. Like, and it frightened me. It did. I'm not even gonna lie. It frightened me because I was like,
She freaked out, man. I was like, girl.
But what was good was at the end of it, like when I said, well, what's marriage doing on here? Like, this is our first date. We haven't even got anywhere. We ain't at the starting block yet. And Ulrich said, listen, if you are not in this for marriage, then we need to shut this thing down from now.
100.
And it frightened me, but I actually had to be like, okay, cool. This relationship is not one to see how it goes. This is a relationship that we're on the road to marriage. And if at any point we break off, it's because we're not compatible for marriage.
Come on. And that is the definition of dating. Finding out whether the person that you're with is suitable for marriage. And that's why there's a topic that we're going to talk about later, which is dating never fails. Why? Because its intent is to find out whether that person is suitable for marriage.
Yeah.
And so if the relationship goes to marriage, then it
never failed.
It never failed. And if that person is not the right one and you don't go to marriage, then it still hasn't failed.
Yeah.
Dating never fails. And so the dating relationship is so key to the success of your marriage.
Yeah. And just going back to what we discussed at the beginning, or midway through, when we were talking about submission, the whole point of you actually dating each other is to find out, okay, as a female, you are dating this guy to say, can you lead us? And how do you lead? What do you do in crisis? What do you do when things are good, when things are bad? How do you lead? Can you lead me and then our family subsequently? Then as a man, you're basically dating this person to say, let me see when we're married, do you know how to submit? Can you honor me with trust in my decision? Can you walk with me even when you don't know exactly where we're going? Because these kind of things here are the things that help you, that when you're in COVID-19 kind of situations, when no one can see their way out, but you're trusting, okay, this is what we're going to do with our finances, or this is what we're going to do when it gets hard, or if there's a death in the family, or if there is a lack of finance, whatever the situation is, when you come up against it, because relationships go through fires, relationships go through floods, they're going to come. It's just the way things are. But it's how you manage and navigate through those situations that's most important. And if you're going to do one thing, you need to be united. You need to walk. The Bible says, how can two walk lest they agree?
Come on.
And the whole point of us going for a walk in the park and, like doing those things together is to actually accentuate that we are joining together. We are coming together to be one. But we can only be one if we're going to be united in our mind, if we're going to have a we mentality.
Yeah.
And that really is what we want to just go over, really, and solidify to everybody that in your relationship there isn't an I in team, there's just an M and an E. Me, which is the we, that you become one. You have to now think as one, and if you make a mistake, you can't be putting the finger and pointing it at them or telling them what they've done wrong, holding up a scorecard. It is about saying, okay, cool, we take the hit together. Because there are times when Oryx made decisions that haven't worked out the way that we wanted them to.
Nope.
And we have to pick ourselves up and keep going.
Definitely.
But if I lauded his mistakes and his flaws over him, like I'm perfect,
it's not benefiting anyone. Because now you're becoming, when you get to that place, you're now one body.
Yeah.
So everything you do affects you.
Yeah.
So even though you're trying to, and I think that's the problem sometimes, and I think we wrestled with that as well. It's a lot of people are trying to still keep their individuality in marriage.
Yeah.
And your individuality, how do I word this? You're still your own person. Within marriage, but I feel like sometimes people still want to be single and married.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work.
You can't.
Like the way you moved when you were single is not
different.
the way that you, because now you are joined to someone.
Absolutely.
That's why the Bible says about becoming one flesh. When you look into that word, it's actually talking about fusion. And if you know anything about like metals, when you fuse two metals together, it is almost impossible to rip it apart. And if you can rip it apart, it damages everything around it when it rips apart. And so you have to understand that this thing is a togetherness, and that's what the dating is to find out. And some people may not have their parents around, so some people may say, well, for example, my dad isn't around, so how do I know if she can be submissive? Well, you have to kind of look at how she relates with other men. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's her brothers, whether it's her uncles, or whether it's her pastor or her mentor, whatever it may be.
That's right.
Because you have to look out for these things. Because I'm telling you guys,
that's what you're marrying.
You have to. We watched a movie a long time ago called Fireproof Your Marriage, and it's talking about you have to put your relationship through situations.
Yeah.
You know, when they're producing cars in a factory, they have to put it through intense crashes
Yeah.
to test whether
Yeah.
it can, you know, withstand
quality
being
assurance
hit.
checks.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, and this is what we don't do. We're always focusing on looking good, having great pictures, having a great wedding, an Insta wedding, having the videography, having the dancing. All of that stuff is great and it's amazing. But when everybody's gone away and it's just you and that person, you guys have to make it work.
Yeah.
So guys,
but just
we
gonna
are
round
coming
up.
to the end.
Yeah, but if there's anything you take away from today, take away about the submission and about understanding what true submission really is and why it's important to submit to one another and who is the captain. You know, like you can't now
choose the right captain.
Exactly. You are looking to choose the right captain, ladies.
And men, choose the right team.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that person is on your team to support you, to help you, and if they're a defender, they can't turn around and try and be a striker to give up halfway and say, right, I don't want to listen. And at the same time, as a captain, you have to make sure that you're making the decision not just for them or for yourself, sorry, but what's best for them as well as a whole.
You need to be speaking to the coach.
Yeah. Which is God.
Oh, God, I love this.
But also,
but yeah.
Just going back to what we were saying about, what were we just saying about, nuts.
And there it goes.
Baby brain. It's just lost. It's just lost.
No, but guys, honestly, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please keep sending your questions.
Yes.
Because obviously you can see how important your questions are, because sometimes they are almost the foundation upon which our topics are literally being like just bubbling over, and things obviously are just coming out in terms of our experience and the things that we've learned. So please keep sending your questions.
That's okay.
You can direct message us on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can download the app Slido and just pop your questions in there.
Yeah.
It'll be anonymous, so obviously nobody will see them. So that we can just keep this chain going. Before we go, I'm gonna shout out all the couples who we tagged.
Yes.
Please send in your videos.
Yes.
We got messages in the week saying, oh, you know, some people are camera shy, and I'm like, I understand that, but just please send me. Carl, you just joined. I want to see you and Emeka's video, please, about the things you give up for love. I said to Siobhan I wouldn't do this and bait people out, but...
No. There is no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus.
Why you gonna make it? Why you gonna take it to church?
There is no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus.
Okay, yes.
However.
Yes. Send me your video.
But we do want to say thank you, guys. It definitely is so encouraging to see your names come up on the screen, to see your participation, and just to see that what we're sharing is actually going out to be a blessing to you guys. So we will continue to do this for as long as we can.
100%.
And guys, we have to tell you about next week.
Go on, tell them. So the topic for next week.
The topic for next week is no kissing.
Holla boy.
Okay, so you have to understand when we say no kissing.
Tell everybody to join us next week.
It
9 p.m. GMT.
I have so much to say.
Here.
I have so much to say. But listen, relationships are subjective.
Yes, that's the disclaimer. So we're not saying
you can't kiss. We're saying...
Was that good? Was that a good accent? You can't kiss. See, that was good.
That's what God said to us.
That sounded good. I felt that.
Okay.
You can't kiss.
That's what God said.
You can't
to
kiss.
Us, okay.
You know those ones, the high pitch.
Yes, as you said. We are gonna show you guys. Hopefully, we can dig it out, the clip of our first kiss.
Ooh, baby.
Because it's gonna be a deep one. But
so I just went all Eddie Murphy.
There's so much that we want to tell you guys. So tune in next week Tuesday.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about our first kiss. We're going to talk about no kissing. We're going to talk about everything. So,
Mad. It's mad. It's mad.
We can't wait to speak to you guys. Have a great week. We're praying for you all. Stay safe. Stay
Please
home.
do. Yes.
Keep encouraged. Keep calling out to each other and checking up on each other. And yeah.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
And thank you guys so much for supporting us as well. Please tell everybody that you know to join in on these Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Because we're really getting some incredible feedback. Really amazing testimonies as well. I mean, we're touching people like all over the world, like messaging us. I'm like, what? You were even tuned in? We're
I
just
know,
like,
I know.
crazy.
People from the States, everything.
Crazy.
It's really good.
But if you have missed it, please remember, go to our social media, go to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. And you can re-watch all of the episodes that we have done over the past 3 weeks. Yeah, because next week is week 4. Amazing. So remember, guys, week 4, no kissing. You've got to tune in. It's going to be jokes.
Bye, guys.
Much love, peeps.